Hello everybody, how are we on this Sunday evening? If I can get the day right. How are we all? Forgive me for being late again today. I really need to move these forward, don't I? And that's my aim for tomorrow because it's too late for me. And it's probably too late for some of you as well. And by the time I reach this point in the evening, I am too tired to really think clearly, which is not really the best way to do these. So I wanted to pop on today, and I'm cheating a little bit today because I've had such a beautiful but busy day because the beautiful Karen Dark has arrived on my doorstep today, and we have literally just been putting the world to rights. So I'm cheating today, and why it's still coming up with 79 and a girl guides from around the world. This banner is obviously still attached to the green screen somehow, which I think is quite miraculous because I've actually deleted it. So it still absolutely baffles me. But it's obviously meant to be. But I'm looking at this book, How Bad Are Bananas? And it basically tells you the CO2 footprint of things that we use in our daily life. And I've not really read this book, but I'm just having a flick through. This is my Brian's book. And I wanted some inspiration about what to talk to you about tonight. So this is it. So if you're interested in finding out about the carbon footprint of everything, How Bad Are Bananas is your book. So I'm just going to go through just a couple of things that we're obviously not going to be aware of because it's not really something that we really go into unless you've read the book. Let me know if you have read the book. Let me know who's watching. Come and say hello. Okay, so a day's protein. Okay, so 50 grams, it's saying here, that of a day's protein. So 130 grams of CO2 is emitted from 250 grams of mixed nuts. So 220 grams of CO2 is emitted from 800 grams of peas. 420 grams of CO2 is emitted from 625 grams of lentils or chickpeas. 1.6 kilograms of CO2 is emitted from 2.5 pints of milk. 2.1 kilograms of CO2 is emitted from 7 large eggs. 2.8 kilograms of CO2 is emitted from 180 grams of chicken. 3.8 kilograms of CO2 is emitted from 200 grams of pork, bacon, or ham. Wow. 9 kilograms of CO2 is emitted from 200 grams of imported king prawns. Gosh, 10 kilograms of CO2 is emitted from 200 grams of lamb. So you think of some mixed nuts. There's 130 grams of CO2 emitted from 250 grams of mixed nuts and 10 kilograms of CO2 from 200 grams of lamb. So when we eat beef, 190 grams of beef, 25 kilograms of CO2 is emitted. Wow. And yet we could have a bag of mixed nuts instead. We all have slightly different protein requirements. And he's based these sums on 50 grams per day, which is what the average person needs. Average person. So this chart here basically shows you the difference between nuts and beef. That's quite a considerable difference, isn't it? Strange, isn't it? That's not until you actually see something like this or read something like this that it really sort of does give you that idea about your carbon footprint. So a latte, a tea or a coffee. So drinking a black tea, 22 grams of CO2 is emitted with black tea. A black coffee is 49 grams. When you have a large cow's milk latte, it's 552 grams of CO2. Cow's milk every day could make up 4% of the 5 tons of in our lifestyle. The shock in the figures above is the milk. But the milk accounts for 3/4 of the total footprint. So the obvious way to slash the footprint of your tea is to reduce the amount of milk or switch to soya or oat milk or drink black or herbal tea. So oat milk, a large oat milk latte is 288 grams. Large soya is 308 grams. Okay. This all really starts to make sense, really, when we think about we're in this global situation that we're in. Driving, and when we're driving a mile, 180 grams of CO2 is emitted from a mid-sized 5-door electric car. A Range Rover Sport, new, but not looked after, doing 90 miles an hour, will emit 1.26 kilograms of CO2. Okay, what else can we look at? Toilet roll. We seem to have an obsession with toilet roll, don't we? 450 grams of recycled paper is emitted for CO2. 450 grams with recycled paper. With just normal virgin paper, 730 grams. And this can account for 84 grams of CO2 per year, about 1.7% of the 5 ton in a lifestyle. So next time you ever think that you need to, in a next pandemic that we ever have, and you need to go out for toilet roll, I think we should just get some washable flannels and forget about the toilet roll. So if you're interested in finding out more about the CO2 emissions and our planet, and perhaps having a really good idea about actually, I wonder what the figures are going to be like when we find out, when we come out of this pandemic proper, if we ever do. What is happening globally? And what are the figures about our planet and the ecosystem as we are not traveling around the world, as we are not driving as we used to, as we are not consuming as we used to? What is the impact? What is the world happening now? And what is the actual impact? If you've got any of those figures, let us know. Because literally all I've done tonight is just go through this book, How Bad Are Bananas, and just read some of those out. But I think that when we actually start to put the figures together, we're going to find it a very interesting situation, see what's actually changed. Has it been enough? I think we'll find out soon, won't we? Let me know your thoughts. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Take care.